The Good Morning America studio in Times Square gleamed under the morning sun on September 22, 2025, as Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, entered with his signature blend of quiet intensity and approachable charm, his casual blazer over a crisp shirt drawing warm applause from the diverse audience of early risers and royal watchers. There to promote the upcoming Invictus Games in Vancouver Whistler and tease a new mental health initiative tied to his Archwell Foundation, Harry was a picture of evolved purpose, far from the Windsors, yet still shadowed by their legacy, eager to discuss resilience, fatherhood with Meghan and their children Archie and Lilibet, and his ongoing battle against media intrusion. George Stephanopoulos, the anchor with a prosecutor's poise forged in White House briefings and This Week grillings, welcomed him alongside co-hosts Robin Roberts and Michael Strahan, their greetings laced with the polished deference of a high-stakes sit-down. The segment launched buoyantly, Harry sharing a heartfelt story about coaching adaptive sports with veterans, his voice steady as Roberts lauded his vulnerability in Spare, and Strahan joked about trading Palace Polo for Montecito hikes. Applause rippled as Harry deflected with humor, crediting Meghan for grounding his wild ginger phase. But Stephanopoulos, eyes keen behind his glasses, steered toward thornier terrain. Harry, you've been unflinching about the royal family's failures, racism allegations, security threats. Yet critics say it's all one-sided. Why no olive branch now? The studio hushed, the question slicing through the goodwill like a dispatch from the palace gates. Harry's jaw set, his reply measured. George, olive branches were offered, and snapped. It's not one-sided, it's survival for my family. The audience nodded sympathetically, but Stephanopoulos leaned in, citing a fresh X-thread from British outlets questioning Harry's U.S. visa status amid drug use admissions in his book. With your platform, doesn't dodging accountability undermine your message of healing? Harry's eyes flashed, a flicker of the battlefield intensity he'd honed in Afghanistan, as he countered, accountability. I've owned my story, you're implying I'm the villain here, chasing headlines I fled. Strahan shifted uncomfortably, Roberts flashing a diplomatic smile, while producers in the control room tensed, the live feed a powder keg primed by Harry's guarded candor clashing with Stephanopoulos' relentless probe. The crowd's murmurs grew, phones poised, as the interview, billed as inspirational, hurtled toward a showdown, the air electric with the ghosts of royal scandals and journalistic jabs. Emerging from a swift commercial break at 8:15 a.m. Eastern, the Good Morning America set crackled with unresolved friction, off-mic reports later surfacing of Harry confiding to a producer about veering off script, while Stephanopoulos pored over notes, his resolve unyielding. Back on air, the anchor escalated, zeroing in on Harry's security lawsuit against the Home Office. You fought for protection abroad, but some see it as entitlement, abandoning duties, then demanding perks. Fair, Harry's face hardened, his British accent clipping sharper, entitlement. I served my country, lost friends to threats you debate from a desk. This isn't perks, it's safety for my wife and kids. Applause swelled from the audience's underdog faction, but Stephanopoulos parried, voice rising with the cadence of a debate closer. Safety's universal, but your book's bombshells, like calling Camilla a villain, feel personal, not protective. Regrets. The query detonated, Harry's composure fracturing as he leaned forward, eyes blazing, regrets. For truth, you've got sources whispering palace lies, I'm the one who lived the betrayal. The studio inhaled collectively, Strahan attempting a pivot to Invictus with a strained grin, but the prince pressed on, accusing Stephanopoulos of echoing the very machine that hounded Diana. Gasps echoed, Roberts interjecting softly about shared losses, yet Stephanopoulos fired back. Diana's tragedy was real, but weaponizing it now. That's the showdown, Harry. The brutality peaked, Harry's voice booming, weaponizing. You're profiting off my family's pain, same as the papers I sued. He surged to his feet at 8:22 a.m., unclipping his microphone with a decisive snap, declaring, this isn't journalism, it's judgment. I'm out. The audience erupted in a cacophony of cheers and boos, Stephanopoulos calling evenly, Harry, let's discuss, don't walk away, but the Duke strode off set, security in tow. Producers cut to weather amid the melee, backstage whispers claiming they escorted him to avoid prolongation, though Harry's team insisted it was voluntary valor. Phones blazed, X igniting at 8:25 a.m. with hashtag HarryGMA trending, clips racking views, he owned the room. Versus, George exposed the grift. The fiery expulsion, from fellowship to fracture, had scorched the morning airwaves, headlines erupting like flares. The seismic fallout from Prince Harry's ejection on Good Morning America cascaded through the media ecosystem by 9 a.m. Eastern on September 22, 2025, eclipsing the day's other segments in a torrent of real-time outrage and analysis. X timelines surged with raw footage, viewers splicing Stephanopoulos' entitlement, probe with Harry's mic drop stride, hashtags #Harry kicked off and #GMA showdown vaulting to worldwide top spots, accruing over 50 million impressions in the opening hour. Harry's loyalists mobilized, tweeting, "A warrior silenced, George's bias shines." With memes of crowns cracked by news desks, while detractors piled on, "Time's up for the spare," #Truth hurts Harry, photoshopping his beret as a dunce cap. TMZ blasted, Prince Harry booted from GMA, royal rage meets reporter reckoning, while BBC News framed it as Harry's US media maelstrom, echoes of exile, speculating if it signaled a Sussex stateside siege. ABC demurred officially, tweeting neutrally about candid conversations, but Stephanopoulos' 9:30 a.m. follow-up post, "Tough topics, tougher truths," garnered 100K likes laced with vitriol. Live ratings ballooned 50%, producers fielding frantic calls on whether the unbridled brawl would summon lawsuits or laurels. Insider drips emerged, had Harry's pre-interview brief flagged, "No family digs." Was Stephanopoulos' team tipped by palace proxies? YouTube vivisections magnified every tick, Harry's fist clench at perks, George's unflinching nod, birthing conspiracies from staged abdication 2.0 to genuine grudge grenade. Royal Reddit realms rechristened it, "Spare the Rod, the US." Uproar, feminist feeds fracturing over privilege versus persecution. Unsubstantiated scoops swirled of Meghan en route from Montecito for solace, Archwell's crisis lines jammed. By 10 a.m., Fallon and Kimmel cued sympathetic sketches, George's mourning. More like mourning, sustaining the inferno through brunch hours, underscoring how one prince's pride could propel a punditry pandemonium. By midday on September 22, 2025, the Prince Harry George Stephanopoulos GMA showdown had coalesced into a cultural colossus, refracting through entertainment prisms and policy spotlights with unyielding fervor. Good Morning America circled back at 11 a.m. with Roberts addressing the tempest in our teacup, deeming it a passionate pivot on accountability, sans specifics, while Stephanopoulos quipped off air to staff, "Royals run, ratings reign." Harry, jetting back to California, surfaced via Archwell's X at noon, a video of Invictus athletes training, captioned, "Strength in silence, not spotlight," which devotees decoded as ducal disdain, spiking foundation donations 30%, a phoenix from the fray. Dissections deluged. The Guardian cast it as Harry's American Ogon, when advocacy avails assault, camps cleaving between extolling George's gallant gut check, or excoriating it as anti-aristocrat ambush. Digital domains dug in. TikTok timelines traced Harry's exit evolution, X surveys swaying 51% his sway with who wielded the win, Reddit resurrecting spare snippets as pre-prophecy proof. Scuttlebutt simmered, Netflix hastening a Sussex special with showdown sequel vibes, GMA's guest ledger lightening on Windsor's. Fragmented feeds fomented fan fusions, one viral edit sinking Harry's heel turn to God Save the Queen's dirge. Wider waves washed. Amplified advocacy for veteran privacy, think tanks tabulating if it tipped US visa tides. As afternoon waned, the whirlwind whittled to whispers, yet the wound wept, Stephanopoulos' impeccable inquisitor, mantle magnified yet maligned, Harry's honorable renegade, halo hazed by hubris. Harmony, a hypothetical 60 Minutes redux, or rift rigidified in reels. Presently, it's morning TV's meatiest melee, where princely poise met probing precision, imprinting an indelible indictment on fame's fraught frontier.